The only thing that ties the indigenous people of Nigeria to the Fulani is that forged record 1999 constitution. My people, on a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends on where you're listening to us from. We are here once again to bring to you one of the latest news of the day. And if today is your first time coming across our YouTube channel, please do subscribe, like, and share our news to all your social media platforms. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever we have a new update. Here are the news in details. The Fulanization of Nigeria through the help of 1999 Constitution. Fulanization means turning all the natural resources, all the surface and groundwaters, all the lands, and all government into the hands of Fulani immigrant settlers in the space called Nigeria. With all the bloodshedding and proposed anti-Nigeria bills, the expansionist agenda of the Fulani is no longer in doubt. In fact, that desire had never left them. Since the Fulani came into what was to become Nigeria, their desire has been to displace and destroy indigenous people, then take over their ancestral lands. In the amalgamation of Nigeria, a documentary record, we learned that Frederick Lugard had been frightened of Fulani starting a jihad, so he regularly had to pacify their leaders with money that came from the south. A few months before the independence, Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of the Fulani and Premier of the North, had said, "I too, after conquering the south, will also divide Nigeria into two, to be taken charge of by two of my lieutenants." Bello was referring to their ancestors, Uthman Danfodio, who had shared out the land he had conquered between his brother Abdullahi and his son Muhammad Bello. Yet again, 12 days after the independence, the same Bello made his infamous and racist declaration that the new nation called Nigeria would be ruthlessly turned into an estate of the Fulani, where indigenous people would be conquered and not be able to control their future. Today, Buhari, a Fulani backed by a Fulani majority central government, has the following three ways to bring on Fulanization in descending order of priority. A. Fulanization by jihad and terrorism, ethnic cleansing, carried out by armed Fulani jointly with Islamic terrorists introduced into the Nigerian space for this purpose. The farmer-herders clashes narrative never made any sense and has now been completely debunked. A well-researched document is the PSJ, UK and ICON 2020 report, Nigerian Silent Slaughter, Genocide in Nigeria and the Implications for the International Community. Quoting from the executive summary of this report, citizens of the Christian faith in part of the northern and middle belt particularly face persecution and daily violence. Instead of taking actions to stop the violence, the country's own government has stood by idly as the blood of innocent Nigerian people has been spilled at the hands of the extremists, Islamist terrorists of Boko Haram and some Fulani militants. As a result, Nigeria and the Lake Chad region have been transformed into an epicenter of terrorist activities and a ticking time bomb. We present carefully researched and documented data and analysis that make a prima facie case for the religion persecution and genocide that is occurring in Nigeria. The full report is far more detailed and paints a very full and troubling picture of the atrocities taking place. The facts speak for themselves. They serve as evidence that genocide, war crime, and crimes against humanity have been and continue to be committed. The Nigerian government has not demonstrated sufficient willingness or ability to deal with the crisis. Hence, the atrocities have persisted and proliferated. By failing to take action, the Nigerian state is perpetuating the issue. Every day, without decisive action, more lives are being lost, thereby inching the country's destination closer to another Yugoslavia, Rwanda, Darfur, and Myanmar. Those outright slaughter of Nigerians for land grab is option A of Fulanization. Late Obadiah Malafia revealed in his viral radio interview of August 2020 that there is an agenda to increase the terrorism and insecurity to civil war-like conditions by 2022, so that those in power, that is the Fulani, could return it. That brings us to option B. B. Fulanization by martial law. In a leaked memo of June 2021, Malami, a Fulani serving as Minister for Justice and Attorney General, advised Buhari to take on martial powers. It means replacing civilian rule with military control, where the military commander would normally have the power to make and enforce laws. It means that individual rights would be suspended. Those with money in banks should stop and consider what might happen to those riches. Consider also that Buhari's government has allegedly recruited repentant and rehabilitated terrorists into the Nigerian military, plus under the guise of setting up ranches on military land. The army is reportedly giving accommodation to Fulani herdsmen. Judge the world's fourth deadliest terrorist. That is not all. Nigeria's porous borders were thrown open for fighting age Fulani from all over Africa to come in, and there continue to be reports of such people being hidden in trucks. Those belong to Dangote, a Fulani, have been mentioned as being used and taken to forests through the South and Middle Belt. It is therefore easy to see how the martial law route would bring instant and full-on Fulanization on every side. C. Fulanization by election 2023. Elections 2023 is the third option, and it has two clear purposes. 1. To buy time for option A and B above, by distracting Nigerians into thinking the election under Fulani-controlled INEC could ever bring them whatever undefined change they are seeking in the rush for voters' card PVC. In 7 months, therefore, those elections 2023, or 10 months to hand over in May 2023, the Fulani invasion would then get all this time to continue. 2. All the power of the caliphate comes from the sham 1999 constitution. That document is also the entry visa for Fulani into the ancestral land of the ethnic nationalities of the South and Middle Belt. Should election 2023 hold, Nigeria would be helping the Fulani to renew the life of that 1999 constitution, since whatever Fulani-controlled INEC declared winner. since whoever Fulani-controlled INEC declares winner would swear an oath of office to uphold, defend, and govern by that constitution, thereby renewing its life. Nigeria should understand that the only thing that ties indigenous people of the South and Middle Belt to the Fulani is that forgery called the 1999 Constitution. Nothing else but that make-believe constitution. Therefore, taking long the 1999 Constitution stops the Fulani conquest, onslaught, and contain the Islamic terrorism, since the Ninas movement has already repudiated that 1999 Constitution via solemn assemblies enforced by the Constitutional Force Majeure declared on 16th December 2020. The journey to elections 2023 under the Constitution should be suspended so that, using international law processes, there would instead be transitional government where indigenous ethnic nations would carry out UN-supervised multi-regional referendum that would resolve the long-standing union dispute by democratically deciding what Nigeria of political unions that will be going forward. My good people and lovers of freedom, in today's news, like the headline says, that the only thing that ties the indigenous people of Nigeria to the Fulani is the forgery called 1999 Constitution. Yeah, it's true. It's the Constitution, or the 1999 Constitution, that's what ties the indigenous people of Nigeria and to the Fulanis. And we all should remember that Fulani people, they are not among the indigenous people of Nigeria. The indigenous people, like we know, the Igbos, the Hausas, the Yorubas, and some other ethnic minorities. But the Fulanis are not among them. They are not among the indigenous people. But they came into Nigeria now, they want to take over the country. According to what Uthman Danfodio said, even before and after the independence. Their plan is to take over the country. Whereas we know that they are not among the indigenous people. That is why, to those who think that our election is going to be the thing that will bring peace to Nigeria, it's not possible, because that constitution is there and the constitution favors them and them alone. That constitution favors these Fulanis more than any other person in the country. And that is why when you talk about restructuring the country, they don't want it. That's why when you talk about restructuring Nigeria, they don't want it, because they know if the country is being restructured, they will start losing. And anybody who is there in the seat of governance as the president, you will not even have the opportunity to do what you think that you're supposed to do, because they are there. They might impeach you at any time, and they must. And I think, they will do whatever it takes to make sure that their own person is there, because anybody who is not a Fulani, who is the president, who will become the president of Nigeria, they know that the person will try to put an end to some of the things that they are doing, which they are not supposed to do. So that's why they are fighting tooth and nail to make sure that the country is Fulanized, or they Islamize the country. That is their main agenda, to Islamize the country. And that, to Islamize that country, the only way that can be easy, or it can go easily for them, it's with that 1999 Constitution, which they will never allow to be restructured, or which they will never allow the country to be restructured, because for the country to be restructured, it will start with that Constitution, that 1999 Constitution. So these Fulanis that are or that came into Nigeria, now it's as if that they are the landlord of the country. It's as if that the country belongs to them. It's as if that the only one who has the final say. That is all they are doing. Even before the amalgamation, Lord Lugard was even scared that for them not to start jihad, he keep compensating them. You see, it's from time immemorial that this is how the Fulanis are. This is what they are. This is what they are all known for. Fight, destroy, and conquer. And it's not going to be easy for them to do that in the south, because the south are mostly Christians, but in the north they are Muslims. So it will be easy for them to penetrate, though they do have a long-term process. They do have a long-term process in whatever they are doing. That's what they have been doing in the north. And that's how it was easy for them to penetrate the north and take over everything, because of their long-term plans and everything that they do. But it's not going to be easy for them in the south. So the constitution like they have it, and the constitution of the 1999 constitution, that is the only thing that might give them a head start. That's the only thing that might help them to try to actualize their plans. But it's not going to be easy, because in the south they are mostly Christians, unlike the north, who are Muslims, which is easy for them because they speak the same language, they pray together, they do everything together. But in the south, it's not like that, even in the middle belt. So anyone who is thinking that, or who is saying that election is going to be the problem, election is going to solve the problem of Nigeria, that person should have a rethink. The only thing that Nigeria needs now is a referendum, because Nigeria as a country has expired, and people are tired of being together in this country, or in this entrapment called Nigeria. People are tired already. They want to go their separate ways. But the Fulanis, I know, or we all know, that they are not going to take it lightly, but that should be the only thing. Everybody should just agitate, like the Biafrans are doing, like the Yorubas are starting to do. Everyone should agitate for referendum, so that the country will be divided and they will be on their own. The Southerners will be on their own. The Southwest will be on their own, and the Southeast will be on their own. Because we are not meant to be together, despite the amalgamation. But we are not meant to be together. We are not the Southeast, the Southwest, and the Northerners. We have nothing in common. We are not meant to be one country. Just like the British did it, because they tried to. In fact, that's an easy way for them to colonize us. So that's why they did that. So now that everything is clear, the only thing that everyone who is a Nigerian should opt for right now is for the country to be divided. It's for referendum for the country to be divided, so that everybody will go their own way. If not, these Fulanis, they will never rest until Nigeria is Islamized. You see how they are killing people in numbers, and even the present government, Buhari administration, is not doing anything, because he's part of them, because he's their kinsman, because he's one of the. So that is all their plans. So no one should think about election come 2023. The best thing is to divide the country, and everyone will have their peace, and people will have their lives. So once again, I'm saying, anybody who thinks that the problem of Nigeria will be solved through election, the person is wrong. Even in the Senate, they are the majority. In anywhere you see, anywhere in the government of Nigeria, they are the majority. So they can, or they might impeach any elected president if things are not going their way. All right, my people, I would like you to tell us what you think in the comment section. Have your say and tell us your mind. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you once again for listening to us, and remain blessed.